Okay, so I am excited to be back in the studio here after my very short vacation, and today I'm taking a look at something different. This is the Gotrax electric bike. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a try. I just played around with it. Let's go with low and do a little bit of assist. Oh, snap. Yo, this thing goes. This is crazy. Let me do medium. Now, before jumping in, full disclosure here, this is a review unit sent to me by Gotrax, but I want you to know that this is not a sponsored video at all. Anything or everything that I share with you about this bike here is literally my genuine take on this bike. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about the bike itself now. Now, what you see here is the box that the bike comes in. It's a fairly large box, and the reason behind that is because the bike is already about 90% assembled, I believe, 85 to 90% assembled. So you're looking at putting this thing together once you take it out the box. You're looking at about 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes for some people to get this thing done and rolling, right? Now, in my case, it took me about 30 to say maybe 40 minutes to get the whole thing done. And the reason behind that is simply because obviously I was shooting a video, so I had to adjust the camera angle. And also I kind of went through the quick start guide there. So that took a little bit of time. But if I really want to, I guess, compile the amount of time that I used to actually put the bike together, I would say probably 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, I would say. The great thing here also is that you don't need to have any additional tools. I got my big toolbox ready because I really thought this thing was going to be labor intensive, but it actually wasn't. It comes with a little box with I guess a sub box in this large box that has all of the tools that you need, including additional components to the bike itself, so additional hardware that you would have to add to the bike. So everything that you need comes with this box here. Now, going through the film, as I mentioned, took me a little while, but I got done with it, and I just like how easy it was to put this guy together here. It was very, very easy. And once I put everything together, this guy here looked very, very nice. It just looked like a regular bike, right? You always hear about electric bikes, but you have a different picture of what it would look like. This looks like a traditional bike, and even with that little kickstand that you have there, it just reminds me of your typical bike that you get from either Walmart or Target or online, wherever you get your regular bike. So they did a good job at conserving it or keeping it look just regular. So again, it's a full-size bicycle that you have here. It's full-size e-bike rather, 26 inches for those wheels there, so pretty good for someone my height. I stand about 6'4" and pretty close to 230 pounds, so 228 pounds, I believe, and it can go up to 20 miles per hour, which is actually pretty fast. And when I tested it, actually, yeah, it was really fast. And the range is going to be at up to 15.2 miles and could support the body weight of someone who weighs at up to 265 pounds. So the specs here are actually pretty impressive. And those are all made possible by that 350 watt electric motor that you can charge. Now, in my case, this one the battery came with roughly 75% of battery life in it, so I didn't really charge it up. So in the little box that comes here with the bike here, what you have in there would be the charger, and it actually looks like a laptop charger for that matter. And you will get a quick start guide or a manual, if you want to call it that, and it was pretty helpful in putting the bike together. So the first thing that I did here was to start off, just as suggested by the quick start guide, is to put on the bar handle there, unscrew this part of the neck here before you add the bar handle, and then screw everything back up. Make sure that it sits solid there and just tighten it up. And next here was to get the front wheel set up and mounted, attaching the axle, or more like inserting the axle through that middle section of the tire there, and then winding up the one side with that little handle there, that little lever to kind of tighten things up. Then I put the tire in. Then after adding the wheel and then winding up everything, you gotta pull the handle and tighten it up. And the one thing that made it easy for me was just to put it upside down. So just to put the whole bike upside down so you could kind of easily snap that in and tighten it up. Also, depending on when you're watching this video, I may have a discount code added to the description, so make sure to check that out just in case. And by the way, that front part there is the suspension frame, right? So I know I keep saying a Gotrax e-bike, but this is, I guess to a certain extent, a sports bike because it has that suspension frame there. So it's pretty cool just in terms of looks, you know, having that type of frame there, that suspension frame, but also in terms of how practical it is if you were riding, let's say, through trails, you know, dirt roads and all that good stuff. You could get that little cushion as you're riding through, not necessarily a smooth area. The next thing I mounted on here was the headlight. It's an LED headlight. It's actually pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to mount. All you got to do is unscrew. There's a long screw there. You got to unscrew that and put the light, then screw that back in. Next here would be the pedals, and again, very self-explanatory also. All you got to do is put part of the pedal in and actually use the whole pedal as a screw itself, and you know, twist until it goes through, and then use the tool from the toolbox to tighten it in. Once you do that with both sides, you are pretty much done. All you got to do is just add some air to the tires and you will be ready to roll. The bike does come with a key here, and this key here is used to unlock the battery, and this battery is on part of the frame of the bike. As you can see here, it has some weight to it, and you use that key to unlock it. Once you unlock it, it will snap up and you have to pull that out, and you can turn the battery either on or off on the battery itself here. This part at the top would be your battery life indicator light. So once you turn that on, it will tell you how much battery you have or how much you have left, whether the battery is out and all that good stuff. And I think I skipped one thing here, the seat. The seat is pretty easy. It's kind of a, you know, a snap-on, maybe not a snap-on, it's like a quick release type of seat. You have to just put it in. It also has a handle that you use to tighten it up. Again, very self-explanatory, and that's the reason why it takes a small amount of time to get this thing done. So I took it for a ride and it was really, really nice. Now on the bar handle, you have, you know, quite a few different things. You have a control panel for your gear and also the button to turn on the light, and you would have the different mode for light, medium, or high. You know, obviously the power button there would be to turn everything on, and you have different indicators to kind of tell you how much power you have left, how much power you're using, and all that good stuff. Right next to it, you have a bell. It's a pretty neat and pretty simple concept. And in front of that, you have the left brake. On the other side, across from it, you have a 7-gear system. It's actually a Shimano 7-gear system. And if you are familiar with kind of what's going on in this industry, you know that they are legit. So it's a Shimano 7-gear system there. Very recognizable name for the many people who already are familiar with this industry, as I mentioned, and it works very, very well. You can change gears, go up and down. And right next to that, you have the throttle for power, you know, so when you're riding, if you don't want to pedal, you could just hit that throttle and you just be cruising through with no issues. And in front, you have the other hand brakes. Now, one thing that I want to add is that as long as the power is on, whether it's on low, even if it's just on and you haven't chosen the mode yet, you're always going to get that assist when you're pedaling. So if the power is on and you're pedaling, it's going to assist you in pedaling. So if you want to use it as a regular traditional bike, a regular bike, just make sure that that power is completely off. That's the only way you'll be able to actually pedal, at least in my experience. So as long as you turn that on, immediately you can hear that little throttle, you know, kick in. Now the rides that I've been taking on this bike have been, you know, just great. I can't tell you how fast I was going because it doesn't have all of the digital stuff to tell you how fast you are going, but it goes really fast, very, very fast. Going uphill, no issues whatsoever, because as I mentioned, as soon as you start pedaling, it just starts assisting and you hear that humming noise. That means it's going. It starts cruising uphill as you're pedaling. And of course, if you want to just hit the throttle, it would also do the same without necessarily having you pedal the bike. So it's been awesome. It's actually been very, very nice. So folks, that was my experience using the Gotrax Emerge here. It's a great bike. Again, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're looking for something affordable. You know, these things actually go for thousands of dollars. I could definitely see people who live in the city, you know, riding this, you know, this thing to work without having to sweat through their shirts and all that stuff, because they have that assist that the electric motor has to offer. But anyway, that was my take on the Gotrax Emerge. I'm certainly hoping that this was informative, assuming you are in the market for something like this. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ask me questions. Maybe if there are some things that you would like for me to test out on this bike, make sure to put those in the comment section. I make sure to check them out and share with you in the comment section. I'm going to catch you in the next video. As always, of course, I'm also going to catch you in that comment section as I mentioned. And up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.